Here we are, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Will the Oilers be able to avoid the sweep, or will the Florida Panthers get their revenge and be hoisting the Stanley Cup tonight? Stick around while I break down Game 4, look into some player props I like, and I'll be giving out a free premium play from the Legacy Sports Discord. Hello everyone, I am Exotic Wagers, and I am one of the sports consultants over at the Legacy Sports Discord. We cover most major sports, give out picks daily, all for just $14.99 a month. Click the link in the description below if you would like to join. If you are new here, welcome. Before I break it down, and if you like this content, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment down below and let me know if you think the Florida Panthers are going to get the sweep, or if you think the Oilers even still have a fighting chance. Subscribe to my channel and turn on them notifications so you can get the latest content when it drops. So here we are, Game 4, Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers, down in Rogers Place. Like I said last time, it's do or die again, but for reals this time for the Oilers. They couldn't get it done in Game 3 and lose 4-3. You saw them make a valiant effort there with 5 minutes left to go, but yeah, they just couldn't get it done. So let's look into the current odds. Right now I'm actually recording this Friday night. It's 2 a.m. Eastern. So right now we're looking at the current odds on FanDuel for the Florida Panthers are plus 102. To see the Florida Panthers still at plus money odds is kind of crazy to me. Just given the way that they've played and kind of taken care of every game in this series. Then you have the Edmonton Oilers. They are favored at minus 114 at BetOnline. The puck line is at minus 1.5 is plus 225 for the Edmonton Oilers at BetOnline. And at Bet365 for the plus 1.5, it's minus 260. The over-unders set at over 5.5. I thought maybe the over would be slightly favored here, but no, the under is favored. The under is at minus 117 over at Bovada. And the best odds you can find on the over is plus 104 at BetOnline. So yeah, so those are the current odds. What do you think the Oilers, or what do I think that the Oilers need to do to win this? They definitely need to figure out their power play. They're currently 0-10 right now in their power play. And I feel like if they're going to outscore the Florida Panthers and try to win, they're definitely going to have to capitalize on some of their power plays. They're definitely going to get the opportunities. Florida tends to get penalized a lot. So I would expect for them to at least see 4 or 5 power plays. And you would think that they have to at least capitalize on 2 of those. In the last game, the Oilers played decent in the first period. They just couldn't score. And then with like a minute left, Reinhart decided to get, net one. Right before the end of the period. And then like 2 minutes into the second period, the Oilers got a goal there. But then for the remainder of I think he scored in the last 2 minutes. So like the remainder 17 or 18 minutes of the game, Florida Panthers just took over and got 3 goals later in that period. And they were up, 4-1. So I mean, the Oilers did look a lot better with 5 minutes left in the game. Like, why couldn't they play with that type of urgency throughout the entire game? And I think if they need a shot, that's kind of what they're going to have to do. I mean, I know you have other players, but, it's kind of like Dallas tonight. I mean, Dallas has Kyrie and Luka. And then outside of that, their other players are good players, but they're not stars like those two. And over at Edmonton, you got the same thing. You have Leon and you got Connor McDavid. So outside of that, I mean, they're rolling those players. They're playing excessive minutes. You saw Bouchard almost play, I think it was 30 minutes. I don't know if it was in the last game, but the game before, especially with the injuries. So, you know, it seems like they get tired. And I think right now the Florida Panthers, their third and their fourth lines are playing really good. You got Luosterainen and Lundell playing very good. I think they've gotten a point or two in the last couple games on the stat sheet. But you know, their depth players are playing a lot better. And it's hard for Edmonton to keep up with a team that is rolling a consistent 3 or 4 lines when you got Draisaitl and McDavid going out there, double shifting or going out every other line versus getting their 3 or 4 minutes rest. So, but yeah, I mean, in that last 5 minutes, they looked good. They got a lot of opportunities, a lot of pucks on net, but you know, they need to play like that for the majority of the game if they're gonna have any type of luck or effort in winning this game. So will they win? You know, the Mavs won tonight. They did avoid the sweep, taking it back to Boston for game 5. I mean, and Boston got blown out. I was actually really surprised. I thought it would be a closer game. I thought maybe the Mavs would pull it off. But Lugo came out, you know, hot right out the gate there. But currently, right now for me, it's Panthers or pass. I know the Oilers are only at -114. It is closer to even odds. In game 3, I believe they were like -135. There was no way I could put money on them at those kind of odds. -114 is a little bit better, but you know, I can't believe the Panthers are still plus money. I know that the Edmonton Oilers don't want to get swept. It's very hard for a team to get swept, but the way that these two teams have played and fared, the Oilers haven't shown me anything to give me the confidence to want to bet on them. And even if the Oilers had a lead into the third period, like, you've seen the Panthers be able to turn it up 1,000%, and I'd be afraid to have an Oilers ticket down 10 minutes left in the third period and see Florida just turning it up, and they keep the puck in the offensive zone. They're going to continue to pressure, cause havoc. Yeah, I really don't see a way. You know, maybe Edmonton pulls off this game 4 and they take it game 5 back to Florida, but I could also see the Florida Panthers hoisting the cup tonight. So, you know, with Skinner, on the other hand, like, you gotta expect this Skinner to not allow as many goals as Bobrovsky, and Bobrovsky's playing lights out. He hasn't had back-to-back games where he's let up 3 or more goals since I believe it was the 4th or the 5th game playing the Lightning back in round 1. So and he's averaging sub below two goals per game. He did let up 3 this last game, so I don't see him letting up more than 2 or 3 again. But yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it's Panthers or pass. So before I get into the free play, let's look into some player props that I like, that have some favorable trends and playable odds. So let's go over to our friends over at Props Cash. We're going to look up Vladimir Tarasenko. So if we look at the matchup between Vladimir and the Edmonton Oilers, you also got to remember too, a lot of this history for Vladimir is from the Senators. So in his last 10 games versus Edmonton, or the last 11 games, He's covered this over 1.5 shots 8 out of the last 11 times at 73%. If we look at this season's playoff run, specifically in the last 5 games, he's covered this in all of his last 5 games. You've also heard me talk about this in the past, but I'm somebody that loves volume. I believe the more attempts, the more pucks on net, the more blocked shots, ultimately the more opportunities he's going to get. He's averaging 5.2 shots per game. This is an average of attempts for somebody's line that is usually at 2.5. So seeing his line at 1.5, I think this is a very favorable matchup for him when he's covered this in all 5 games. I mean, even in the last 2 games, he's had 3 and 4 shots on goal. I believe I think he had a goal last game. Yep, he had a goal last game. So how about points wise? He's had points in 3 of the last 5 games. So he's definitely active. He's been active on that line. I believe he is playing on line 3. Let's see. Yeah, he's playing on line 3 with Lusteran and Lundell, those 2 players that I was telling you have been having really good games. So yeah, for him to have over 1.5 shots on goal, he is playing against the third line of the Edmonton Oilers. And those third lines have been getting garbled up a lot because they've been rolling different lines on 1 and 2, just trying to find something that works against the Florida Panthers. So I definitely like that matchup for Vladimir Tarasenko, over 1.5 shots on goal. The odds are -145, so that is kind of juicy. That is usually my limit. The highest odds that I play for is straight. Let me see if those odds look any better anywhere else. So yeah, -145 is the best odds that I can see here. There is -143 at Betano. I don't know that book. But yeah, -145. I would say if you're not comfortable playing those type of odds, if you can get something on FanDuel, or if ESPN has the alt lines up for this game. I also like I'm actually going to it next, so let's go to this next prop. Connor McDavid over for 3.5 shots on goal. But like I was saying, if you wanted to play Vladimir, what you could do is take FanDuel or ESPN bet, depending on what book offers you outlines. And I would take Connor McDavid at over 2.5 shots on goal and parlay that with Vladimir Tarasenko. Him being -145, you should be able to get it at plus money or just slightly over, or right even money odds. So yeah, Connor McDavid over 3.5 shots on goal. Let's look at his playoff run. So I know in the season wise, he was always better at home. He's 60% in this playoff season, 6 out of the last 10. He's 5-11 on the road. Now let's look at his matchup versus Florida. He's covered Florida in 6 of the last 9 games overall that he's played against Florida. Also, I had mentioned this stat in my previous video, but he is also he was 4 of 5 to cover this number after a loss. I don't know, and then when I took him in that game, he actually didn't cash. So he is 4 of 5, and then this last game he did cover, so that would make him 5 of the last, what did I say, 4 of the last 5, so 5 of the last 7 games to cover this line. But yeah, like I've said in my previous videos, if the Edmonton Oilers are gonna have to win or want to win, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl are gonna have to play amazing. In that last game, you saw, I think Connor had 6 shots on goal. Let's look at that. And he had 5 shots on goal on 8 attempts. So I honestly think, Connor McDavid's going to have to be shooting the puck. I even believe if they're going to be maybe behind in this game at the end or later in this game, you're going to see Connor McDavid going end to end, ice to ice with the puck, trying to win this game, put the team on his shoulders and win this game. So his current odds are minus 115, I believe. Let's look at this. So it's 123 over at Caesars. I was looking up this earlier. If you have Bet Rivers, and I believe it's all that Bet Rivers family that use all the same odds. So you got Bet Rivers, Unibet, my local book, which is Desert Diamond, use those same odds. They had Connor McDavid at minus 114. So that's a huge variance between some of these books. Pinnacle's minus 137. Pinnacle's usually the sharpest book out there, so I like to vary my odds against that line. So if I see a line, I mean, that's what, 23 cents or 13 cents cheaper at minus 114. I think that's a very good value when most of the books are sitting at minus 130. That's would be a 16-cent difference. So yeah, when you guys are taking player props or plays that are given out, please make sure you line shop. I always tell people to take every book that is available to you, because it's no different than you going to the store to look for the best deal on soda if you are having a big party. You know, if you're gonna save $1 on every 2 liter or $1, you know, same thing gas. Some people want to save a few cents on gas. So at the end of the year, this adds up. You know, I could see it being a difference of, depending on the type of volume we play every week, maybe a 10 unit, 20 unit difference at the end of the year, depending on how much juice you're actually paying for as well. So yeah, make sure you line shop. All right, so the last prop I want to look into and show you guys, it would be Sergei Bobrovsky over 25.5 shots on goal. These odds are kind of juiced, minus 130. I believe it was minus 125 on another book prior to me recording this. Let's take a look here. Saves minus 130. So either the line just moved, or I was looking at this one here over at Betano. But looking back on Sergei, let's look at his playoff run. So he's only covered this line 4 out of the last 9 times on the road. But when you look at let's see, the Edmonton matchup on the away, he's actually covered this line in all 3 games. Edmonton's put 40, 38, 32. So not only is he's covered this line, I mean, this one is covered by 14 shots. This one by 12 shots. So I love the drastic difference here, because if you look at home, total different. 2 games with only 18 shots on a goal. Not only that, but you're going to have a desperate Edmonton Oilers team trying to win. So the more opportunities that they can get the puck on net, the more of the chance of the likelihood that they win. So I definitely love this prop. It is minus 130. But yeah, over 25.5 saves for Sergei Bobrovsky is definitely a great look. So getting back into my free bet. I gave this out in, I believe it was this last game. Today's free bet that I gave out to my Discord is going to be the Florida Panthers over 2.5 goals. Last game when I took this was minus 114. Now they've kind of bumped this up. I found it over at minus 128 over at, I believe it was FanDuel. Let's see. No, that's the wrong slide. No. Oh, let's talk about this real quick. So this is a lotto I put up for the Discord for this last game. It was $33 or 0.3 units to win 32 units, $3,200. This was looking amazing. All we needed was Reinhardt to have over 2.5 shots on goal, and he ended on 2. So I've had 2 of these lottos in 2 of the last games lose on the last leg. So also too, I wanted to shout out AF Cultures. I recently had some signs made that I'm going to be putting back here on my wall. But I'm still designing, trying to figure out where I'm going to put everything at. But I temporarily hung these up and turned the lights on these. So this is my Exotic Wagers sign that they made for me. And then this is the Legacy sign they made for me. They're both LED backlit, amazing customer service. So yeah, I believe they are AF Cultures on Instagram and on X, Twitter. So if you get a chance, check them out. They do great customer service, great work. But yeah, over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 125. Minus 128. I believe they've covered this 8 of the last 10 times. So that was last game. So it's 9 of the last 11 to have 3 or more goals in the game versus Edmonton. This is the matchup between the two averages. Also, in the last 5 games in Edmonton, they've had 3 or more goals. I believe 3 or 4 of those games have had 4 or 5 of goals in those games, so they definitely can score in Edmonton. And I expect them to at least have 3 goals. Like I said, if Edmonton's going to win this game, they're going to have to outscore the Panthers. I don't see them slowing down the Panthers and not being able to play defense and keep them from scoring. So like I said, for me, currently right now, it is Panthers or pass. I believe the Panthers are going to score, and the Oilers and Skinners aren't going to slow them down. So the question is, again, can the Oilers outscore the Panthers with Skinner in it? And my honest opinion is no. Like I said, they haven't shown me anything to make me believe otherwise. But I do believe the over is a good look in this game. It is at plus money, over 5.5. I guess if I was looking into parlaying something on an alt line or something, I'd probably take the Panthers plus 1.5 and take the alt line over 4.5 goals in this game. I think last game it was close to plus money. I would expect for it to be plus money again. And also, it's an elimination game for the Oilers. So if the Oilers are down, even if the Panthers are down, we can get some early goalies pulled and be looking at, I would say, probably 6 or 7 goals in this game. We did have a 4-3 game last time. I could see a 4-2 game. I could see a 3-2 game. That's why I'm saying take the over 4.5. We'll see. I mean, they did have some opportunities. They have hit some. I think they've had 2 shots or 4 shots hit the pipe that should have been goals. We'll see. But, like I said, the Mavericks tonight avoided the sweep. Can the Oilers? All I can say is good luck. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Florida Panthers would be hoisting the Stanley Cup tonight, this Saturday. But yeah, so just a reminder for some of you that saw a few of the earlier videos, I did give out some plays that are still alive. First off, if you're on our Discord, we're writing this ticket here. This is 3.6 units to win 3 units. We have a future on the Florida Panthers to win the Stanley Cup. We took this at minus 120. I believe it was in the 4th or the 5th game against the Rangers. But yeah, or maybe it was right at the end of that series. But yeah, so for those that are in the Legacy Discord, we are writing this out. Also, in one of the first videos before the Stanley Cup started, the final Stanley Cup series started, I'd given this out. We put 0.2 units in the Discord to win 1 unit. This is Connor McDavid to have 3+ shots on goal in every game. So if the series ends today, sorry, I keep getting mixed up because I'm recording this Friday night, but if the Stanley Cup ends today and Connor McDavid has 3 shots, this will cash for us as well. I also gave out, and like I said, I'm kicking myself in the ass because I didn't bet it, but I did give this lookout for Sergei Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe at plus 450. I believe as of today, after game 3, the odds currently today are -1 or -425. So he is the current favorite to win the Conn Smythe. You also think that if the Oilers win and this series continues to keep going, Alexander Barkov may also be a good look. He did have 2 points in the last game. He had a point in the goal. But you also got to remember that this Conn Smythe trophy is a playoff award, not just this last game. So Alexander Barkov has been one of the most important players throughout the entire series. I mean, they shut down the Lightning in the series 1. They shut down the Boston Bruins in series 2. They shut down the power play from the New York Rangers, which was performing at a very great high clip. So he would also be a good look. But I think if this game ends, whether it be in game 4 or 5, I think it would have to get to 6 or 7 to kind of veer the looks away from Sergei, just being the way that he's played throughout these first 3 games, giving up 1 goal and I believe 50 shots in between the first 2 games. Yeah, I mean, so if you did tail that, this is also still a good look. But yeah, so like I said, for me, it's Panthers or nothing. If you've made it this far, thank you. Please remember to like my channel, like this video, drop a comment down below, turn them notifications on so you get more content when it drops. And thank you for, like I said, sticking around. Good luck in all your bets today and keep grinding.